Great Herbal Day and Ovario. This is Dr. Herb Sister, and I'd like to say thank you to everyone for your calls, your texts, and your orders. And I wanted to come on today to give you an opportunity to get a little bit more details. Everyone says, well, I'm calling for a few more details. The details I've given you in some of the other videos. I'm just going to reiterate here just to make sure that people have gotten it, and also add in a few other things. So if you have time, let's go. What I want to talk about is that when you're working naturally, when you're working with fibroids and other womb issues, most of these issues are based in yeast and emotions. So they're yeast based and emotion based. So we have to handle both aspects. So we have to handle making sure that you have everything that you need to kill the yeast and that you don't create more yeast. So what that means is that we want you to do not only probiotics, but we also, in therapeutic doses. I've had some people say, oh yeah, I do probiotics. And I said, how many you do? One? No. One is not enough. One is for somebody who have absolutely nothing going on, and it's still not enough for them because of our sad diet, our standard American diet. So what we want to do is make sure, and that's why I'm asking you to do programs. People call and say, well, how do I start? I have a first step program on the site at herbsista, herbsistah.com. I have a first step program there. It has everything you need. The probiotics is to overcome the yeast and to also give your body more good bacteria. The enzymes helps to break down the all the fibrous tissue and all the toxins. And most women who have had issues with fibroids for a long time, and as many of you have, basically confirmed, haven't done anything about it except research. You need these things. The enzymes are going to help to move out that old waste. You have to go to the bathroom at least 2 to 3 times a day, and for some of you that's just considered incredible. You need to make sure that you're getting in exercise. Exercise is going to have you sweat, but it's also going to tighten and firm the body, and it's going to help the body excrete toxins. What we also have is tonics, the sarsaparilla tonic, which is in that program, that is good for cleansing the blood. And that's what we're doing with this program. When you're asking me how long is it going to take, we're talking about how long are you going to take to continue to clean your blood and to work with this and with everything in your environment. It's a blood cleanser, so it doesn't matter. So, you don't have to say, well, I want to tell you that mine is, and it's not yours, right? The fibroids, you don't own them, you don't love them, and you don't want to keep them. So they're not yours. So it doesn't matter whether they're inside the uterus, the womb, or they're hanging on the outside, or what they are. It doesn't matter. What matters is that if you're using effective, organic products, herbals that are cleansing your blood, then you don't have to worry about where they are located, because the body actually wants to balance itself. It wants to right itself and feel good and move everything as it should. It wants to do that. So when you give it everything that it needs to do that, then it will go in that direction. So we could talk about the womb detox tonic. You're taking that 2 ounces before breakfast and before bed. You always take your herbs in the mornings to get your body started, and you always take them before bed so that during the night when your body is healing and at rest, that it is able to utilize those herbs. The same thing with working with anything. Everything takes in the morning and at night. If you also have what you consider to be a lot of symptoms, you can take another dose during the day, another 2 ounces during the day. You can't take too much of this. So this is not like a pharmaceutical drug where you can't OD on it. All you're going to do is give yourself a push clean. I always recommend you to start slow at first because the toxins are so much that you might feel kind of queasy or a little upset. So you want to take your time at first. But once you get it in and your bowels start moving, that's the key. Everything that comes in has to go out. All those things that have been accumulating has to go out. The reason why I talk about, I'm going to do, well, I could do it today, talking about parasites, is because parasites for a woman, I just talked to a woman the other day, and she told me she's only 38, but she had her womb removed because she had cysts all over and all inside it and all everywhere. Well, cysts, in my opinion, in the research that I've done and in the work and research that I've done, cysts are sacs of worms, just like our womb carries a fetus. Those cysts are sacs that carry eggs for parasites, for worms. And many of the people that I talk to, they have had an experience where, or maybe they didn't even know, which makes it worse, that your parents, your mom, your grandmama, none of them ever dewormed you. And you deworm a baby from a month old. That's what the grandmothers used to do. They picked the baby up and they rubbed the baby's stomach, to see how hard the stomach was, and how hard the stomach was determined how loaded the baby was with worms. And you've seen those kids on TV, on those late night, avocations for money, where they ask you for money for Sally Struthers and all these people. And you see these kids with these huge, big, fat bellies, and they got tiny little legs and everything. What that is basically is a baby, is a child full of worms, And so, if you're telling me you bloated, if you're telling me that you can't lose weight, if you're telling me all of these things, we got to work on the entire body. And doing a parasite cleanse is one of the best ways to effectively do that. When you have cysts, that's another way of getting rid of the cysts, is doing the parasite program. And I keep saying programs because I've had women who say, well, I'm just going to get the tonic for now, and then I'll get something else later, And then when you start doing the tonic, unfortunately, we are not accustomed. We're not used to feeling healing. So when healing starts, we get panicky. So I have people, texting me and saying, I have, this going on, I have that going on. And really all it is that the body is releasing and broken down that yeast. So you may have a lot of clear or creamy liquid that's coming out that will burn. So all at the top of your right at your lips and all at the top of your legs, you'll be getting a burning feeling, which means you'll have to wear a pad. But you also need the womb positories and you need the herbal douche so that you can use the womb positories, bring all of that stuff all the way down, and then rinse it out with the herbal douche. Now, this is one thing I have to say. A lot of times women will tell me, well, my doctor said he doesn't believe in douching. He doesn't have a vagina. He doesn't have a womb. So what he thinks is really minimal into the way that this actually works. We all know that our grandmothers all had those apples, the douche bag in the bathroom, and they were using apple cider vinegar. We sisters of today cannot use apple cider vinegar because apple cider vinegar is fermented. Anything that's fermented other than Greek yogurt is going to cause you a problem because you're going to be feeding the yeast. So, don't think, oh, my friend, she's taking apple cider vinegar and I started taking it and that yeast just, I got a yeast infection. Guess what? Most of us, we already got a yeast infection. Once you start doing something, it starts coming out and you blame it on the thing you were just taking versus recognizing that it was already there, because yeast just don't come up in 2 days. It's there. So, talking about feeling healing. When you are feeling healing, you're going to feel pressure. You're going to feel, sometimes you'll be a little nauseous just for a short period of time. Sometimes you're going to pass a fibroid. Now, everybody wants to know, how long is this going to take? That's what I'm telling you. We can't figure that out, because when you're doing things naturally, and even the woman who had this one, she passed this one, she had already had a myomectomy. This is why I'm talking to you guys about this surgery. You got to do something as a preventative. That's what we're all about here in, WombLoveOlogy. It's about revolutionary womb wellness, which in this day and age, revolutionary womb wellness is taking care of your body in advance of having a problem. Like you do your nails, like you do your hair, like you do your teeth, So this woman had a myomectomy, and what happens? When she started doing the womb detox, because she didn't feel quite right, this came out. So this is not what she paid for, and she since had more come out, So I call this fibroid birthing, when you actually birth and move the fibroid out. And the sister that I was just telling you about, who had all the cysts everywhere, she told me, she says, I've gotten chills just now from what you said to me, because you said everything that happened me growing up. I had a lot of worms growing up. I love to walk barefoot. I love to eat off the ground, even fruit. And she says, and my mom was always deworming me. And luckily she was her mom knew about it, because some people would have just been running their kids back and forth to the doctor, and the doctor would have said there's nothing wrong, And she says, I stayed full of worms. Well, I guess once she left home, she didn't keep up that deworming, and she ended up getting a hysterectomy, which is not what we want. And now, why she's calling me is because the same cyst that they thought they had gotten rid of with the hysterectomy are all over her tubes and all over the rest of her insides in that area that's left. Because when you do surgery, you only take out the problem that's showing. You're not taking out the core of the issue. And that's why we want to work at the core of the issue. And womb detoxing is the core of the issue. We're going to clean it out. We're going to stabilize it. We're going to feed it. We're going to nurture it. We're going to love it. And that's why we call it WombLoveOlogy. In addition to these things, we also are looking at emotional. I say that with a smile, because a lot of times women feel like, you know what? I hate my job. My husband gets on my damn nerves all the time. Or my boyfriend. I know how he is. I just ignore him. No, baby. No. That's not true. You can't ignore him. Your body is paying attention. Your body recognizes everything. Your body even hears what you say. That's why it's not your fibroid. Not my fibroid. It's the fibroid. You don't own it, you don't love it, and you don't want to keep it. So it's not my fibroid, okay? So we won't hear that on the phone, will we? So that emotional aspect, if you hate your job, you hate your commute, you hate where you live, your mama or your mother-in-law gets on your nerves, we need a plan. There's no way to get around that. Now, even if the plan is blocking their number, you need a plan, So, but what my plan normally is that, I'm still teaching the WombLoveOlogy course. It's still open for anybody who wants to come on. We have done 2 classes, and you can catch up by listening to the recordings, and you can catch up at any time. We are looking at how we are to live. And women teach women how to be women, So, I don't know why a lot of sisters are going to men with their womb issues. Why are we going to OBGYNs that's white men across town? Why are we doing that? I mean, when I talk and teach in my WombLoveOlogy course, I'm talking about the first class, the commercialization of African wombs. That's just like the commercialization of African people during the enslavement and beyond. Well, when they went from being criminals and breeding African peoples in Virginia, chaining their necks and chaining their waist and chaining their wrists and connecting them all together, men, women, and children, and walking them from Virginia to Mississippi, that's how they used to transport. Walk. When they looked at the women, they looked at girls starting at 12 years old. How many kids can she have? That's what's increasing my wealth. That's what's increasing my holdings. So they buying girls, little girls, that's very valuable. And from 10, 11, 12 years old, they expecting her to have a baby every year. Because every baby is, the baby itself is worth about $400. Moving up to a young child, a teenager, and then an adult. So they're looking at increasing their wealth. So when you look at that commercialization of African American women's wombs, and you see that even now, doctors start telling women in their 30s, it's time to have your hysterectomy. And we don't know any better. I'm just going to put it like that. When you don't know any better, you can't do any better. When you learn better, you do better, you know? So we think that we actually are in line for a hysterectomy because we don't want any more children. The womb is far more than children. It's your energy. It's your sexuality. It's your grounding. It's your battery to the planet. It's your thoughts and ideas. It's your gut instinct. It's your, your mindset. It's your emotions. It's so much more than just having a baby. You don't want to give that away, even if you have insurance. So you want to take care of it every single day because something is going on in your womb every single day. So we have a responsibility to our planet, our grandmothers, our foremothers. We have a responsibility. They gave us every opportunity to do better than them. They were being hysterectomized, some of them like Fannie Lou Hamer, when she was 14 against her will because she went in for a toothache. And during those days, they call it the Mississippi appendectomy. They gave all black women hysterectomies anytime you saw a doctor. Even a couple years ago, they were doing that in California to all of the women that were incarcerated. They just passed a law against it. That's against the law. But it should have been against the law. That's against human nature to just take somebody's womb because you see the money, But a lot of us, we've been taught to hate ourselves. We've been taught to hate women, hate the process of what women are. Having a cycle is what a woman is. Being able to create, we create all the time. We're creative. We're creators. We not only create babies, but we create businesses and we create community organizations and churches. And, women, particularly black women, are the most powerful beings in the universe. Take your power. Decide that you're going to take care of your womb every day. It's not for you to let somebody across town tell you how you doing and you scared to go because you don't do anything unless you see them. Get an African American woman, OB/GYN. We telling our daughters they can do everything. We sending our daughters to school, and then we go to a white man across town. Why are we doing that? I don't care if your mama, your grandmama, and all your cousins go to them. You can change, and that's part of what we do in WombLoveOlogy is we challenge and we look at what we have decided is the real world and what is real and what is normal. We challenge that because a lot of that stuff that's so-called real and normal is not real and normal for African American women, African Caribbean women, African women of the diaspora. It's not real for us. It has been hurtful for us. So we need to pay attention and change our viewpoint on so many different things and realign ourselves with what works for us. What works for you? What works for you? If it's not working for you, don't do it. Most women with fibroids, and we talk about this in WombLoveOlogy class and so many other things I do. We do everything for everybody else and not for ourselves. So we make ourselves tired because we don't want to seem selfish or we don't want to seem, like we don't care about other people. So we do everything for people and we don't tell people no. You can tell them no. There's nothing wrong with saying no. They know what no means. You know, you have to do something for you. And self-care. Self-care is not going to one place and getting your nails done. That's not self-care. Self-care is sometimes deciding, okay, y'all, I'm not cooking. I'm just going to lay around, do what I want to do, take a bath, light my candles, read a book, you know, watch what I want to watch, read, you know, whatever you want to do. That's self-care. Go get a massage. That's a wonderful one. You know, and you ain't got to take a whole crew of people with you and go get a massage. Just because you getting a massage, everybody don't get one. You know, that's what I'm talking about, self-care and how we look out for everybody instead of ourselves. I call that the good girl syndrome. We'll talk about that again at some other time. But I wanted to tell you that on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. for like 15 minutes, I do a Facebook Live on the WombLoveOlogy page. So I'm there 15 minutes every Wednesday. You can go in there and ask questions, and I'll answer them during that 15 minutes. I also am available on WhatsApp if you want to do a consult. Now, normally I don't just answer WhatsApp because I got a lot of stuff going on, and I'll never know what's going on WhatsApp. You know how that is. So you get all kinds of little kind of stuff. But you could also text me at 404-244-5565. You can text me. You can set up a consult, because a lot of times when you want to tell me your whole program and what you're doing and all of that, I'm on the phone with you and I'm making tonics to send out, and I'm on the phone with somebody else, and I'm on the computer. I'm doing the multiple things, and I want to help everybody. You know, this is my mission. This is what I'm here to do. And we all got to do what we're here to do. But sometimes it's better, I can help you better if we do a consult, and then I can offer suggestions based on other things that I've already learned about you, you know. Not that I don't want to talk to you. I do. But that works because I have so much going on. And other than that, I appreciate you signing up. Please, you know, go ahead and register for these videos, and let your friends know, send them out, post them on your Facebook, on your Instagram, because 8 out of 10 women are having some type of womb issue, and most of the time women don't even talk to each other about it. And we need to talk about it because it's going to help you get the right information right on time before you give up your womb, and then you telling me like so many women do. I wish I'd have met you 5 years ago. I wish I'd have met you 10 years ago. In fact, the same woman that I'm telling you about who had the cyst everywhere, she's 38. And of course, since then, she married again, and she wanted to have a baby with her husband. But since she had a hysterectomy, you know, that's not possible, and they have to kind of adjust to that. I do infertility consultations, all types of consultations. And I call them herbal education consultations, because I help you to understand what your body is telling you. And a lot of times your body has been telling you for a long time, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. Help me, help me, help me. You know, so you got to do something. Stop the research. Put your buckets down where you are. Put on your big girl panties and decide today to at least start doing a program. And once you start feeling better, you will start thinking better. You will have more energy. You will be able to tell people no. You'll be able to get your universal energy into the pattern that it needs to go in, because we're all here to add that energy to the universal energy, because we all have a part to play. And if you're just in the bed, or if you've been sick for 13 years or since you was 13, you know what? Time out for that. Time out for that. You know? Take charge. This is about empowering you to take charge of your body, of your health, which is your wealth, of your mind, of your everything. Take it back. So I'm going to see you soon. This is Dr. Herb, sister. Make sure you send these to your friends and post them and let me know how you're doing. I appreciate you, and I appreciate being able to work with you and do what I'm here to do. And this is all I do. And I've been doing this for 30 years. And I appreciate you allowing me to work with you and help you on this journey, because it's a journey. So don't ask me how long it's going to take, because I don't know. Okay? Have a great herbal day. And don't forget the WombLoveOlogy course. And I'll talk to you soon. Ovario. I forgot. Follow me. Instagram, Dr. Herb Sister. Twitter, Dr. Herb Sister. And on Facebook at WombLoveOlogy. I'll look for you there. Have a great herbal day. Ovario.